Tiga.
Hai, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So, my name is Muhammad Aizal bin Omar and today my group will present about the effect of foreign labor on Malaysia's economic growth. Okay, next we're going to proceed with the background of the study. Okay, the first one is foreign labor were also brought into Malaysia because of industrializations. As a result, when foreign employees enter the labor force, they face a wide range of potential outcomes in terms of the labor market challenges and productivity. And the impact of foreign employees on labor productivity to our economy is investigated in this study. In this study, the corpse dockless production function is employed to create the model specifications. And the third one is excess labor demand coupled with rapid economic growth can explain the growing presence of foreign workers in Malaysia can be explained by an increase in labor demand as a result of rapid economic growth. Okay, the fourth one, many variables have influenced the evolutions of the labor force, including variations in population size and labor force participant rates. Outward, which is immigrations, and inward migrations determine net migrations until the 1990 migrations did not play a significant role in providing labor to the country. Lastly is the influx of foreign workers from Malaysia migrant help to alleviate the country's labour shortage, particularly in the manufacturing sector. The labour situation began to alter in the 1990 when the labour market was tight. Okay, so we proceed to the problem statement. As stated in 11 Malaysian plan, the goal is to achieve a long-term growth path that reflect increased productivity. To fulfill capitalize on its potential benefit, the 11 Malaysian plans state that the migration management system should be aligned with the country's human resource development strategy. Okay, next is a dynamic levy system that allow the government to appropriately price labor market needs desirable tools for aligning immigrations with the country objective. Okay, other than that, also required to ensure firms are not prevented from filling labor shortage with immigrant labor when there is a genuine need. Greater and more open policy debate including important stakeholders such as the government, local companies, employees, non-governmental groups, and independent policy experts can address these effects and repercussions caused by foreign worker. Okay, so the next is about the research objective. Objective of this study is to investigate the effect of foreign labor on Malaysia economic growth. The aim of this research to investigate foreign labor effect the nation economy. The second one is to determine the dependency of foreign worker in Malaysia construction industry by identifying the factor that influencing nations construction companies dependency on foreign workforce in their project. Okay, the third one is to determine the problem arising by employing foreign labor and to analyze the effect of employment of foreign workers. Okay, the next one is about the research questions. The research question for the study would be the effect of foreign labor on Malaysia economic growth and several independent variables affecting the unemployment rate will be investigated to see how actually it will influence the economic growth in Malaysia. Okay, the first one is to study whether the relationship between foreign labor and local labor. Second one is to identify the effect of foreign labor in long term. And next is to study economic analysis on foreign labor and total factor productivity growth. And last but not least is to investigate the relationship between foreign labor and economic growth in the short run. Okay, so there's table which is literature view. So by The first one is by the Tan Tang and Alan NG. Year 2018, the economic impact of foreign worker in Malaysia. So the purpose is to analyze focuses on 4 outcome: native workers employment, overall average wage, overall labor productivity and capital intensity. Okay. Number 2 is by Zaleha Muhammad Noor, Nur Aini Isa, Rusmawati Said and Suhaila Abdul Jalil. Year 2011, the impact of foreign workers on labor productivity in Malaysia manufacturing sector. Okay, the purpose is why government encourage the employment of foreign workers, especially from around and the Southeast Asia region. Okay, the third one is Jacob A. Jordan, 2018. Foreign worker and productivity is an emerging economy. Okay, the purpose is to research on the economic impact inflow of migrant workers on host economies focus exclusively on developed countries. Okay, last but not least is by An Jianwei, Atria Murugasu, Chai Wei, 2018. Low skills foreign workers distortions to the economy. So the purpose is employee of low wage foreign workers allow employers to keep salaries low. So that's all from me. And next I will proceed to the Aiman Amirul Hakimi. Thank you.
Thank you, Aizat. So, for research framework is based on this the literature review. There are some of the variables show that there is a relationship between the dependent variable and independent variable. Also, there are many study about impact of immigration on different angle and the relationship between native and foreign labor. But the important is to organize more about the impact to economic on labor productivity, especially in Malaysia. Next, it's also important to study the relationship between domestic and foreign worker, whether it complement or substitute. However, the nature of the relationship will be different from one to another as a proxy on certain variable and time of period due to change on policy and modern technology. Next slide. For hypothesis, for the first one, which is we want to see factor gender and age, what type of relation that make respondent think about working with foreign worker. Next point, labor productivity in the Malaysian manufacturing sector largely depends on labor and domestic labor more than imports from foreign labor. In addition, foreign workers have significant and positive impacts, and to reduce dependency on foreign workforce, it takes a long term to achieve their goals. The local and foreign labor are contribute negatively, but both not significant to the growth of labor productivity in the short run, while in the long run, both having positive relationship with labor productivity growth and it increase towards achieving a high income country status by the year 2021 regards to the increase in total output produced. Next slide. we're gonna through by research design. A research design is a method plan for data collection which enables the researcher to minimize the effects of error variance by calculating the contribution of one or more nuisance variables. The data we were collected using a self-administered questionnaire was designed using simple and unbiased wording to that the respondent could understand the question easily. All the construct measure using a five variety of answer, which is scale of 1 strongly disagree to 5 strongly agree. Next, other than other than that, in section A is about do they think that foreign workers help in economic growth in Malaysia, and from which country do they think foreign workers have the most? In section B to section E, we start the question about the topic which is related to the effect of foreign labor on Malaysia economic growth. Next, data collection. Primary data. Primary data are accurate and reliable source because the information collected are specifically for research project. In this research, self-completion survey is used by using structured questionnaire to collect quantitative data from large number of individuals in relatively quick manner. The 20 questionnaires will be delivered directly to the target respondent to increase response rate. For secondary data, secondary data refers to information gathered from sources that already exist. In this research, journals, articles, newspaper, books, and online search engines such as Google and Yahoo are used. The considerable time and cost have reduced by using secondary data since it is a quick source of information. Data collection methods. From data we collect from the Google, we convert it to SPSS to see whether result of research is give the right position. Section A, respondent demographic information. Section A consists of respondent information where it used to collect personal details and respondents such as their gender, age, race, religion, and type of occupation. Other than that, in section A is about do they think that foreign workers help in economic growth in Malaysia, and from which country do they think foreign workers have the most. Next. Section B to study whether the relationship between foreign labor and local labor. Section B consists of five questions that want to know how the relationship between foreign labor and local labor. Among the question is whether local workers find it difficult to communicate with foreign workers. We all know that language is one of the most important things when we are working with other, especially when the people is from a different country. So this question is to look how far that our Malaysian citizen have a problem with those foreign. For section C, to identify the effect of foreign labor in the long run. Section C also consists of 5 questions, but this time is to identify the effect of foreign labor in the long run. Some of the question is whether foreign workers are trying to focus on maximizing our country economic growth. This question will see how opinion that our respondent about this question. Next, section D to study economic analysis on foreign labor and total factor productivity growth. Section D also consists of 5 questions. This section wants to know respondent opinion about economic analysis on foreign labor and total factor productivity growth. The first question is either local worker can work together with foreigners workers. As we know, there has many our local workers that work with foreign workers, especially at automotive industry. So for the next slide, I will pass to my member, America.
Okay, thank you, Aimar. My name is Muhammad Kabir Nazri, and for session E is to investigate the relationship between foreign labor and economic growth in the short run. Section E also consists of 5 questions. The last question in this section is: do you think if we are hiring foreign worker, it can reduce local worker in Malaysia? This question is wanting to know that what our respondent think. Is this will affect us on short-term economic growth or not? Okay, for the unit analysis, the data gathered will be inserted into statistical package for social science SPSS computer software version 26. SPSS is a comprehensive and flexible statistical analysis and data management solution. SPSS and D. Sampling frame. The most widely used sampling frame is used to measure the internal consistency of a test or scale. In contrast, the internal consistency can explain the extent to which whether all the items in a test have positive relationship or are positively correlated to one another. Okay, proposed data analysis. Data analysis is used to describe the main characteristic and summarize a set of data that received from the respondents. It is used to provide a clearly picture for the readers so that the researchers can interpret the data easily because it provides a general pattern of the respondents. Findings. In this study, we draw on social exchange theory and predict differences in work perceptions, attitudes, and behaviors of foreign versus local employees based on difference in their exchange relationship. We then draw on social comparison theories and propose that this difference is perception, attitudes, and behaviors will be accentuated for workers in jobs with high task interdependence. Okay, for the next one, free trade will have an influence on nations with a labor endowment, causing the salaries of unskilled labor to decline, lowering the country's relative capital yield in economic developments. On the other hand, occur in nations with a high capital endowment. Okay, employment does not negatively affect TFP growth in the short run, less than 1 year, but it turns out to be a positive effect when it is continuously present in the long run after 1 year, with the presence of additional force in their observation. Okay, the next one is during the economic growth and industrialization, foreign workers help to alleviate several labor market imbalance in the construction industry, despite the positive short-term benefits associated with recruiting foreign workers to work in the Malaysian construction industry. The conclusion, Malaysia witnessed the rapid increase of foreign population in the last 3 decades. In 1980, there were only 63,700 non-citizens, forming 0.49% of the population of about 13 million. Department of Statistic 1983, based on labor data, about 2.3 million foreign workers in Malaysia in 2010. Foreign workers continue to grow since the early 1990s when governments introduced formal guidelines on the management of foreign labor and due to the influx of transnational population in response to labor shortage in some sectors economy. Unfortunately, due to undocumented workers, it is difficult to get more accurate estimates. The recommendation, the first point is recommended to target wider range of respondents from different states so that the reliability and accuracy of the result can be enhanced. In addition, it is suggested that future studies should extend the research scope to other sectors or industry in Malaysia. The second point is strongly recommended for future studies to increase the sample size as it can help to eliminate bias of the data collection as well as improve the generality and accuracy of the findings. The next point is recommended to consider other factors that may influence organizational commitment in order to obtain a clear picture about foreign workers. The variables that would to be considered include job satisfaction, career opportunities, and organizational support. Okay, the last one is recommended to replace cross-sectional study with longitudinal design for the purpose of causality. It is useful to examine the changes over time in order to determine whether the effect of foreign labor on Malaysia's economic growth is good or not. Okay, that's all from me and that's all from us. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.